Hi guys, you're right. Alex here with one of my first tutorials on Photoshop first actually. A lot of you guys have been asking me how I do my backgrounds, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make something similar to what we use on our YouTube homepage. As you can see from down here, I have a lot of different layers which I build up on to get the different effects. So a layer, say images I find on Google with those of the Photoshop pre-comp things. So yeah, and I'll show you guys how to do this, and in the description I'll also put a link to the template that I've made, so you'll have the right size and you can start getting building on. So anyway, just watch and enjoy. Alright guys, so let's get going on your turn to make the background. So first thing we want to do is come up to here and do File, New, and we want to name those compositions what we want it. So let's say, in my example, elusive background. Oh, I can't spell. The width you want to be 2000 and the height you want to be 2200. This will fit to the YouTube page on its longest settings. Click OK, and then what I've done for you guys in the description, I've attached the foreground, which is the middle partition, so you'll be able to actually place this in the centre, as I'm doing here, and it'll be central in your thing. Alright, so as you can probably see now, you can't actually fill in this foreground colour. So what you want to do is you want to go to black, and you want to double click on the one that says background here, and you want to unlock the layer. This means you can actually sort of edit it and do it as you like. So yeah, we've done that. Click here, and you'll see that the foreground is overlaying because it's above on the layer selection. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to customise this and make it our own. So how do we do that? I bet you're thinking. And what we actually need to do is come into the text tool, say for example first. Alright, so now you want to, when this loads eventually, you want to select the text you want. I'm using bummer, I think it looks pretty good. And you want to say, I'm going to go for something different this time and say like subscribe. I want to change the colour of my text to a nice yellow, and then just to give it some life, I'm going to give it an outer glow down here on the effects panel. I don't want it to be too distinct, so I'm probably going to give it a nice blue on the outside, and I'm just going to set the blend mode to normal. See, I think that's pretty nice. You can change the size if you want, it's entirely up to you, obviously it's your page guys, and then you obviously click and drag it where you want it. Okay, to get it into a different position you press Control and T, and I think it's Option and T for Mac, I'm not entirely sure, you have to experiment with that, but then you hold Shift to justify it so it's completely straight. Then you want to place it, say where you want it. This is quite near the top of the page. Your banner normally lies across about here. So yeah, and you want to say increase the size or whatever, like this. Yeah, I'm not as keen on that thing, but this is only rough, so it doesn't really matter. And you want to put the foreground in front of this, so it sort of eats over the top of it, if you know what I mean. Like now, I put it behind it, it sort of chops it off rather than making it look all sort of clammed up and stuck together. Right, so to keep the same properties we want to do Control and J to duplicate this layer, and you want to just drag it over here. If you go back to the text tool down here and then click on this layer here, subscribe copy, you want to just click in there, drag down, and now you can edit your text. So what can we have here? I don't know, elusive, I don't know, because I was going to put that down the other side, but hey, it doesn't really matter, does it? Anyway, now we want to spin this around, also under the foreground, and we want to lay it here. So it doesn't look great, it doesn't look amazing, but like I said, this is just a quick thing. Obviously you guys are going to do something a lot more satisfying. So yeah. Right, a lot of people have this sort of thing through the middle, sort of around this area, with their sort of channel name. So what I'm going to do is actually darken my foreground colour Oh yeah, you have to rasterize it when it's got this little clipboard image here, otherwise you won't be able to edit it. So yeah, as you can see, I've done that now and it works fine. So what we want to do now is we want to bring this text layer here, and no, we'll delete this one because I've messed it up. We'll make a new text layer. We want it to go horizontal. And we'll click here, and then say I'll put elusive. Right. Now I don't want that horrible mucky yellow colour anymore, so I'll go for something more blue. And then I'll give it another outer glow again. But this time I think I'll just go for a nice white, or no, I'll go black. Just to give it some sort of effect, so. Right. Now, I know this is looking so boring, but hey, I really don't care. So I think the partition comes around about here. Now you can go and render something like a lens layer over the top. So if we make a mask layer, and the mask layer we do filter, render, can't do that. Sorry, we'll duplicate the layer, and we'll go filter, render, lens flare, and yes, you want to rasterize it, and we'll increase the brightness so it's quite bright, so elusive, and then if we go set it as a mask, it looks quite nice, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got all of the sort of boring part of the way where everything looks rubbish, and now we want to give it some texture, make it look quite nice. So what we first want to do is come down here and create a new folder for group. Double click this and we'll just rename this basics. This will just like sort of tidy up our layers. If you click on the bottom layer, go to the top one, hold shift and click on the top layer, and we can drag this into the basics folder. Now we can minimize it and you see everything's all cleared up. We've still got our background here, so I don't get confused. Alright, so as you can see on my old one, I've got this quite nice sort of texture effects down here, so all these little tiles, and that's just one of the Photoshop presets. So what we want to do is click on background, come up to filter, texture, and stained glass. In stained glass we can zoom out, sort of get a feel of what we're going to be getting, and you can see you get all these cells. Now obviously you can make them bigger depending on the effect that you want, but I want quite small tiles as I want everything quite close together. Border thickness of 9 and light intensity of 3 if you can't see it properly. Now I'll click OK, and you should get this nice sort of effect. Actually I really don't like that, I'm going to make the cells a lot bigger. So you want to go undo that, filter, texture, stained glass. The pattern's bigger, and the border thickness down to about 5. That's a lot nicer. So it looks like we've got this really nice sort of mesh effect on our page. Alright, now what we want to do is go on YouTube, Google, and collect some elements to sort of make this look a lot nicer, sort of get some texture in it, like here where I've got all these cracks in the background. Basically all I did was went on to Google and typed in sort of like earthquake and no cracks I think, and I've got this nice sort of cracked ground effect. I also typed in flames and I got this nice flamey fire as well. So if you want to highlight these and just drag them, hover over the Photoshop and import them to our layers channel. Right, now we want to click, just left click, drag it up. Sorry, we've got to unlock this first. We just want to click, drag it up, drop it over on this, and here it is here. And for now we just want to hide this layer, and we're going to do the same with the flames. Okay, now I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with these yet, so it might look really bad, but what I'm thinking at the moment is I want to sort of drag this fiery sort of effect about here so it covers up from the subscribe, and we just want to click on the arrow and do replace. So that looks awful at the moment. So what we want to do now is place this fire, and then we want to go filter, no, sorry, image, adjustments, and then we want to do curves. I think curves are great, you can really change everything a lot. So we want to bring the red down a lot, we don't want loads of red in there. I want it to be more of a sort of aggressive blue sort of flame, so I want to bring the blue levels up quite a bit. Take the green out to make the blue a lot more distinct, the green up to make the blue... What am I doing? I need the red down a lot more than that. I want it to start going blue. Right, now take the green down. I'll put the blue up a little bit more. Right, they're a lot more blue than they were anyway. They're not very blue, but still. There you go. Now we want to come to the blending mode. We try to sequence through these until we find one that's suiting to us. So I'm liking these sort of like static flames, are they? I don't know, what can you call them? I don't like them actually. Let's keep going up, let's keep going through till we find one. Obviously you can do what you really want to, but I'm really not liking any of these. I probably picked the worst images on Google I could have done. But yeah, for now I'm just going to use these because they'll do. Right, now we set the opacity down. And you've got this sort of like jumping flame effect around there. So yeah, it looks rubbish, but I really couldn't care less. Okay, now what I did in the other one was I duplicated this layer and I sort of offset them so they look like they're blurred a bit, and then I would have done say Gaussian blur. Don't want it too intense, but if I have it blurring a bit, it looks like they're sort of creating a sort of smoke around each other. Again, drop the opacity down, and then yeah, it looks like you've got smoke coming out of your fire.